Here we have an example of a program that makes use of 5 functions. There's the function main, of course, and then 4 additional functions: display menu, display receipt, compute book subtotal, and compute book shipping. Functions are typically typed out down below the main function, below end of main, in an area which could be marked off with rows of nice comment statements like this, the green comment statements. We have a function here called display menu. The first line of a function is called its header, and then you have the body of the function surrounded by a set of curly braces. And for good style, you should always indicate where your function ends by typing end of and then whatever the name of the function is. We've already studied in this course void functions. That is, functions that have no return value, and therefore you put the word void here instead of return. Here's another void function. There's no return statement, and the word void is there. But in this program, the new element that we haven't studied yet is a function that returns a value, a number. So here we have a return statement in this function named compute book subtotal. By the way, you should always, for good style, you should always type the purpose of a function above its header. Computes the subtotal cost of amount books. I'm kind of using the parameter name amount as sort of a descriptive term there. So the name of a function should always appear above, the purpose of a function the description should always appear right above the body of the function. Visual C++ lets you shrink these functions up if you are in the mood to do so. At any rate, let's now analyze how these two functions are used by the main function up above. When this particular program runs, after declaring a bunch of variables, we hit this loop, and the loop goes around and around and around. Each time through the loop, the guy gets a chance to type in his menu choice. Let's pretend that he inputs the number 1, which means he wants to buy books. And let's pretend that he wants to buy 1 book. If he does buy 1 book, the number of books is added to the total number of books, just like you'll have to do in assignment 3. So by the time you get down to this key line of code right here, total num books, let's assume, is 1. Well, that 1 is passed as a parameter. It's passed as a parameter, and it plugs in for amount. The name of the parameter amount knows that it matches up with total num books because compute book subtotal is the name of the function, and the name of that function is also typed out here in its function definition. So now we assume that the value 1 is plugged in for amount. And then we analyze the line of code that's in the body of this function. Since amount is 1, and book price, which is a constant, I know that because it's in uppercase letters, so therefore I know to scroll to the top of the program and look for its value. Book price is 9. So in my head I know that 9 times 1 is 9. And therefore that 9 that this simplifies to is returned. Because the word double is here, we know that a decimal number is likely returned. And really this is 9.00. So the 9.00 gets returned back up to the main function, back up to where the call statement was found. And it's as if 9.00 is typed in there. That's how it works. And the rest is history. The 9.00 then gets assigned into the variable book subtotal, which is then later added to the book shipping, and all of that is printed out for the user to see on some nice receipt. Here's another call statement in this program where total num books, let's pretend that that's a 1 again, is passed as a parameter, but this time it's passed to the function compute book shipping, which we now scroll down to find. it's typed out down here. By the way, it doesn't matter what order these functions are typed out in. As long as they're below end of main, they can be in any order they want to be. The 1 plugs in here for this amount. Therefore, this is a 1. And book shipping is equal to, well, let's scroll up and see. Book shipping is really 95 cents. So we have 1 times 95 cents. That's what's happening behind the scenes. And that simplifies to just 0.95. So a 0.95 is returned back up to where compute book shipping was called, which is right here. So all of that just morphed into 0.95, which gets assigned into this variable. And like I said a moment ago, the two get added up nice and cleanly here. And that grand subtotal is simply 9.95. When you type up a program like this and you have one or more functions typed out below main, they must also be listed in what are called function declaration statements, where each function is listed in this way. These function prototype or function declaration statements, as they're known, are simply the same lines of code that we have down here in the function headers, only with an additional semicolon at the end. See the semicolons? They just have to be there.